Hello, well, it's Saturday. We'll do another new radio. This is bearing in mind Mr. Chippy isn't here at present, so these are going to stack up and he'll have to do quite a few on the air test if I don't choke on my own saliva. I had on the shelf, I've had it for about 9 months, this Taylor 3 Classic, and I said, is anybody interested in seeing this? And somebody said yes. I do like Murata inside. That's really clever. But to the Intel inside and Cyrix instead, and all those other things I remember. Murata do good filters. So yes, it's got a meter, and that's nice. I think we're doing another business radio onto 4 meters tomorrow's time. It'll be a Tate 2000. And then we'll be back to another new set. If I can open it. Now this is... I've had it on the shelf 9 months, but it was fresh from the wholesalers at the time. We've got a printer rattling away, doing me some music. I've got a church service on, obviously, tomorrow, and the snag is I can't find one of the music books, which I like to play voluntaries from beginning and end of service, and published in 1904, and I had the sense of scanning. That took some doing. And that means, of course, that if I mislay a copy, I can print off another copy, and that's exactly what the printer's doing. 128 pages, double-sided. And the only trouble is, it's rattling the second camera around, which is the picture-in-picture one. I wonder what page number it will jam on. So we've got a set with a meter. We've got a set without a cigarette lighter plug, which is good to me because it tells me it's for a permanent installation and not just a shove on the seat and put into the fag lighter with a mag mount installation. To add to the sticker collection, there's another sticker. I'll be selling them on eBay in about 20 years' time for 10p. So this will, yeah, we're going to have to find out how that's done. Now this was new last year, so hopefully it will do AM on CPT. Not that that interests me, but it does interest some people. So I'm going to open it up and we'll find out whether it's a radio. It's got silver screws, not black ones, which is unusual. A bit like the Uniden days. So is this a Uniden one? We did that one the other day. What was it? Look at my notes. Johnson 2. And that was definitely made by Uniden. So it's nice to know they're still going. So straight away, I don't like the fact it's not got a detachable power lead. Because these aren't cheap sets. Yeah, it's something you might expect at $49.99, but I think when you're paying, I'm sure these are over £100. I would have thought you could have a detachable power lead. Oh dear, I'd have also thought you could have a detachable speaker too. Nice screening there. So we've got a fiberglass board with a few adjustments. So I'll connect that up to the right power supply. Because we're doing a business radio, I was on the 18 amp power supply. So we'll go over to the 2.5 amp power supply. I don't think we're going to need to press any emergency stop buttons on this set, but the power supplies are connected via a contactor. And for those of you who don't know, a contactor is a relay used in industrial applications, usually for motor starting, and you will normally have the stop and start buttons, and we have those. The contactor's on the wall, and it's right over the other side of the room, and all I have on the bench is a stop button. once I press the stop button, the contactor trips, and the power to the power supplies is cut, and that it doesn't come back on unless you walk out over there and press the start button. So that's why we do that. And when I was in the television business, what a waste of time. But when I was in the television business in the late 70s, it was pretty important. You know, you're working on valve televisions producing 25,000 volts, and you need to be able to disconnect yourself very quickly if you have to. So it's just something we've carried on doing with the two-way radios, and when we did that one the other day with the smoke coming out of it, I'm glad we had implemented that idea. So switch it on, and it promises it's on EU. Yeah, well, obviously it's not going to be on UK frequencies. So better straight away put it on UK frequencies. Changes glasses. So English is the fourth language in the... Shows how much they love us in France, doesn't it? Oh dear, how do we do this? Frequency band selection. Press and hold the PTT button. Now, would I have guessed that? No, I wouldn't. Press and hold the PTT button and switch on the radio. And then press and the PTT button to lock it in. So, off we go, switch it on. There we go, press PTT. I had to hold that for 3 seconds. Switch the radio off, switch it back on again, now on U. So hopefully on FM, I'll just put this camera onto picture in picture. And if it doesn't work, I want you to know I'm pressing the picture in picture button right now. And it's showing up on my monitor. I'm going to actually stand up to make sure. Yep. Oh, we're on channel 19. Let's put it to channel 20. 27,79136. So that's slightly high. So that's fine. Sorry about this rattling around. We've got this printer running. If I switch this to AM, I would assume it now goes over to CPT, but I may be wrong. It does. So to do AM on this radio, we would have to put it into a country that isn't UK. So that tells me it was actually manufactured before 2014 when the licensing changes happened in the UK. So we'll go back to FM. We'll be doing all the alignment on channel 20, and we'll just unsolder that speaker. It's a nice looking speaker on this. There's some pretty dreary ones on some of the new sets. Where is it? What's the country? Made in Vietnam. Well, they do have a factory in... Uniden do have a factory in there, so it could be, but just doesn't have... Oh, it's PA434. Yes, it will be Uniden. We'll let them off. So you've got the pre-driver, sorry, you've got the driver transistor on a bit of a heat sink, and that's good. And then you've got the output transistor on this shield plate, which is working as a heat sink, and soldered to the back and you've got a bit of airflow there as well. So we'll go over to camera position 1 and we will see how many watts it's doing. I'll switch to the 3 watt scale and it's doing 3 watts. That's not unusual, is it? Now none of these are adjusted. None of these adjustments are labelled, so what we're going to have is this is going to be the VCO, these are going to be the receiver, that's going to be the detector, I would think. Doesn't look like there's anything for the transmitter. I would think that's modulation. I would think that's transmit power. I'll go and see whether we can, if we've got a manual on file. So we'll just pause the video. Okay, so we're back with you and the printer stopped printing. I had to wait for the printer to stop printing to print this. So luckily I've already got the manual available. So it's 13.2 volts, so it's 10.8 to 15.6, which is nice to know. We don't need to touch the phase lock loop. Alignment of transmitter. We'll have to come back to some of this because it's AM. I tell you what, no, we won't. We'll start as they want you to. So we'll put it back into EU. There we go. I want you to start in AM. And I want you to start on channel 20. Right, we're going to the high power setting, which is showing 3 watts. And they want you to adjust RT203 and RT203. Yeah, is already nothing to do with what we're doing because it's for low power for Germany. So if RT203 is actually fitted on this radio, there's 202. RT203 has been linked with a permanent resistor. So that's already by the by. Power supply's current limiting. That's because we were in AM and it draws more current on AM. So now go to FM. So that was a pointless exercise. And adjust RT202 for 4 watts. Which it won't quite do. Do 3.8. So there's no further adjustments. What does that do then? RT201. Oh, that's the RF meter. So it does read the RF power. So I'm going to jack the power supply up. I'm on 13.2 volts at the moment. And we'll just pop it up to 13.8. Just to see whether we can achieve 4 watts. No, it's 3.8. So we now calibrate that meter, which needs to say 4 on transmit. Well, it does, so that's fine. But it's the adjustment is just there. We're instructed to set radios, whatever the transmitted power is, so that it's in the centre zone of the red section of the meter. Because tell you what, if you send back a radio which happens to do 2.5 watts, and you have the meter reading 2.5 watts, people have a psychological thing that it's not very powerful, and it's just the way. It's a psychological thing. I know it sounds wrong, but there you go. It's like having speedometers in cars that say 160 miles an hour on them, and you've got a car with a 988 engine. So we've done that. So stage 4 is deviation. Let's see what we're doing on deviation. I'm going to have to reset my machine because we're normally on 2781 and they're wanting you to do this on on EU band. Wallow, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, so we'll get our little. Oh, I'll just see what it's doing. Wallow, it's 1.8. That's better than some. So we need to adjust 204. Let's try it there. Whoa, that's over the top. That's still just over the top. It's a bit vicious then, the way this works. 1 2 1 2.2. That's excellent. So that's finally done that. And AM modulation. So we'll do that. So set the machine to AM, and they want you to do 90%. Whoa, that's over 100%. We don't want that. So 205 is where? That one. One, 2. That's better. And then they want you to adjust the automatic level control RT206, which is a small one there. And again, it's for 90%. We're not going to touch that because it's a new set. It's not going to be fiddled with. I've just dropped the modulation down a fraction. I would think we've turned the power up and that's tracked with it, so that's why that's happened. So that's the transmitter set. They do the frequency when in the phase lock loop section. So I will do the frequency right now. So we'll select camera 2. Yep. And it'll be 27205. I'll go to FM, it causes me less interference. So it's, of course it's a new set, it's slightly high, nearly spot on. And we'll find a tool that actually fits. Oh, that's another vicious control. Okay, that's just slightly high, which is fine. I'll tell you what we will do. I'm out of curiosity. I just wonder how this regulation works. I'm going to go up the voltage while we press transmit. We're at 3.8 watts. We're still at 3.8 watts. And it starts to drop there at 12.2 volts. So really from 12.5 volts to 15 volts it's stable at the 3.8 watts it's able to do. It's better stability than a lot of the older sets, but I wish it would have done 4 watts, which is a shame. You know what? There's a variable inductor in there. Let's just see where it is in the circuit. L205. I'll put the spectrum analyzer on. And you know what? I might be able to just inch another 0.2 watts out of this. And the answer is no. And that inductor is in a critical position. No, that's it. That's where we are. Let's just see what this says. Frequency 27205. So we want the second harmonic at 54 megs or 55 or something like that. It's just there. Oh, that looks tiny. So press peak. It's minus 54 dBm, so that's fine. We'll switch that off. Right, let's see how the receiver is. To plug the test equipment in. There's no PA for those of you who are into PA. So they have you do this on AM, which is actually easier to tune it on AM than it is on FM. And they want you to do it on CPT channel 1. What we're going to do is to do it on CPT channel 40 because we want it to work better on UK channels. So if I put in 27465, 27405, isn't it? So as it stands, what are we doing? What are we getting? The answer is we're getting 0.375 microvolts per 12 decibel synad. show you that. There's 12, and there's your attenuator at 1 and 0.375. So let's see whether we can tune that up a bit. So they want 1, 2, 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 4, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Now then. So we need to go to FM. So we need to go over to FM. And do the detector, which we'll do with the oscilloscope, which I will turn the bench light off so you can see that little bit better. And we're doing L9. And that was spot on. And then we move on to Squelch. We'll just see where we are with the cyanide now. And it is a fraction better. It's 0.31 for 12 decibel cyanide. I'll tell you what we're going to do now. We're going to go over to UK channels, because we've done the AM detector, we've done the AM transmit. I want it on FM, so we'll do that. And we'll go to channel 20. And we'll change this to 2779125. We'll see what the cyanide is now on UK channel 20. Not as good. And it's 0.375. So on UK, it's exactly where we started with on the CPT set of channels. Right, Squelch, RT401 Auto Squelch. Let's see how that's working. So I like Auto Squelch to come in somewhere around about 3 microvolts. So let's turn our attenuator. So 0.3, 1 microvolt, 3 microvolts. That's ideal. So look at the fine tuning. It's coming in at 2.8 microvolts, and it's dropping off at 1.6 microvolts. So that can stay put. If we needed to adjust, it's RT401. So RT401, I will just find for you. Is it that one there, which hasn't got a label? That's RT1, is it? No, RT1 is Squelch. Right, RT1 is Squelch. And RT401, which I can't find. I'll have another look. So ordinary Squelch. Set the radio to manual Squelch. Put the Squelch to full. And see when it comes in. 1 microvolt, 3 microvolts, 10 microvolts, 30 microvolts, 100 microvolts, 300 microvolts. And now we need it weaker than that. So I want it to come in at 100 microvolts, which is equivalent of S9. And that's Squelch, alright. And that comes in exactly where I want it to come in. You know what RT2 is? It's going to be a meter, isn't it? Yeah. S9. So we'll put S9 on the radio and see what the meter reads. And it reads 9. So RT2 is that one, and we can vary that like that. RT2. So RT401 is still a mystery as to where it lives. Oh, of course, it's on the subboard, isn't it? There's RT401 on the that's the Squelch board. What do they call it? ASQ board. So that's where that is, and it's spot on. I think we've covered everything now. Yep. So now it's cooled down, it's doing about 3.9 watts. Of course, it makes no difference, you know. If it makes 100-yard difference, you know, it'd be so nominal like that, but it could make all the difference. So we'll put the speaker back on. And we'll put the radio back together and we'll plug it into the aerial. Right, so I've got it on an aerial now. One on a Roger. You'll be lucky. Good grief, somebody actually on frequency. 19 and Roger. Okay, well, there you are. When Mr. Chippy gets back from his visit home, we'll turn the volume down. We'll do an on-the-air test with that. So that's the President Taylor 3 Classic, and it is a Uniden made set, and we managed to coax 3.8, 3.9 watts out of it. Thank you for watching.